What's going on, Bulls Nation? Welcome into CHGO Bulls Postgame. Presented to you by DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook. Download their app and use promo code CHGO when you sign up. I'm Peck. You can follow me on Twitter at Bulls_Peck. My guys, Big Dad Bow, BAWL Sports, and Mark K at MK Hoops. We are CHGO_Bulls. We got our GM, Jake Flanagan, rocking the producer's controls with us tonight, giving Joey the night off because he's such a nice boss. Gentlemen, that hurt. Bulls lose to the Cavs 103-102. And I thought we were going to end 2022 the way we ended 2021 with a DeMar DeRozan buzzer beater and a W. This one rims out Bulls and 2022 with the loss. That hurt. I'm still processing. How are you guys holding up right now?
Oh, I'm cool. Mark K?
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm surprisingly, maybe because I don't want to start 2023 off on it with a negative tone. I'm trying to be as zen about it as possible. I'm okay with it, I guess. Like, yeah, I would have obviously preferred a win. Yes, the Cavs were missing Garland and Mobley. This was an opportunity to maybe steal a win against a good opponent. Nonetheless, an opponent that was weakened. But yeah, I don't know. Surprisingly, I feel okay about it, I guess. Just that it wasn't a game like where they got belted. Obviously, last time they played the Cavs, they lost by 30-something points. The defensive effort was there tonight for the most part. There was obviously a few things that let them down, which I'm sure we'll get into. Sure. But it wasn't a complete disaster. Let me put it that way. So yeah, I'm okay. I'm okay. But I'm something's telling me a few hats were thrown over at the Peck at our household today.
All of the
no.
hats.
All of that. Okay. You were shaking your head. I'm like, no. And then, yeah, okay.
No, I was shaking my head like, oh, yeah, oh, geez, yeah. No, I keep all my hats on my foosball table. That's, a short walk from the couch. So I was furiously pacing that whole fourth quarter and just putting on a new hat, throwing it, putting on a new hat, throwing it. There's hats everywhere here right now.
Poor hats.
Well, I mean, something for clean up a little bit later on for you. So that's the positive, I suppose.
Gentlemen, let's ask this question. I saw people in my mentions talking about this on Twitter. DeMar takes the last shot. We saw him do it again. We saw him do it last year. We saw him do it New Year's Eve, New Year's Day. We see DeMar do this all the time. That's why we call him the king in the fourth. I saw people asking, should this have been a Zach LaVine opportunity tonight to take the final shot? It was a tough shot for DeMar on that baseline, kind of like a falling away, 18-footer. But I don't know if there's anybody out there in Bulls Nation who didn't have confidence in DeMar to take and make that shot. But, of course, that question is going to get thrown out there. Should the Bulls devise other game plans in these final seconds, one possession to win the game or lose game scenarios that isn't give the ball to DeMar? What do you guys think about that?
I guess. Yeah, I mean, but I don't think anybody's mad that DeMar DeRozan was shooting the ball. But like you said, man, like once you miss, then, everybody's the coach, once you miss the shot. So you look at it that way. I remember when he airballed it against the Knicks, everybody was the coach after that. Why is he even doing that? This is supposed to be Zach taking those. And now nobody even questions it, anymore. So, yeah, I had no issue with it. I thought he took a more difficult shot than he could have taken, off the one leg, like you said. But maybe they felt like that was the only way he could get it off against a double team. So, yeah, okay. He took the shot. It rimmed out, of course you wanted to go in, but, just didn't work this time. And it's hard to be mad because I saw him hit a one-legged three-pointer last year. That was just a ridiculous shot to actually win a basketball game. So, yeah, I'm not mad. I'm so not mad at this loss at all because the Bulls did everything that we've been watching them do all season long that leads to them getting blown the hell out. And the fact that they, fought back like they did to get this to give themselves a chance like they did, I was really, really impressed with. And it told me a lot about what this team is kind of mentally as far as they're gelling together and things like that. But yes, to answer your question, sure, Zach, he can get opportunities. Absolutely. If it comes to that, but if DeMar DeRozan is open and he's got his hand out, I'm giving him the basketball.
Yeah, it's always strange to me that we I don't know, this is a topic of conversation given DeMar's resume, particularly in Chicago, what he's done in these sorts of moments, not just on final catch and shoot opportunities, but throughout the fourth quarter periods. Like, I don't understand why it is questioned at times. And like tonight, for example, like who was the alternative? Like it wasn't like Zach was playing well tonight. Like he was missing all his shots at the rim. He hit a few baskets in that fourth quarter for sure. So maybe Zach should have been an option. He was an option on that play. Billy in post game said he was an option on that specific possession. He also said that the way they run that particular set piece wasn't ideal as well. So clearly the shot that DeMar got wasn't the ideal look that they were trying to generate. So like it's not like they were trying to have him run off a mid-range jump off 1 foot, similar to, or trying to shoot off one leg like he did last year against the Pacers. Like that wasn't by design. It ultimately played out that way. But look, I've got no issues with DeMar taking that final shot. Like we all know where it's going, but in all of these situations, with literally every star guy, every star ISO guy, like we know where the ball is going. Like we know Kevin Durant is getting the ball in those situations. We know LeBron is getting the ball in those situations. Kawhi, whoever, insert player. Like obviously DeMar isn't that level of guy, but for the Bulls, he is that guy. So I've got no issue with him taking that final shot.
Nicholas in the comments saying, let's all collaborate on a better play. Ost is saying, I don't care that DeMar took the last second shot, but I don't know why he made it so hard on himself with that running fadeaway. I mean, that's the one he made against the Pacers a year ago.
Yeah.
It's a shot that I think we have faith in DeMar to take and make. If DeMar hits that shot, we're all just sitting here celebrating, saying, oh my God, he did it again. DeMar is amazing. All hail DeMar. It rimmed out. It happens. I mean, that's who he is. As soon as he arrived to put on a Bulls jersey, that's who DeMar has been. I mean, second guessing, like you said, Dave, only happens when it doesn't work. And could the Bulls have gotten a better shot than that? Maybe, but I could live with that.
Yeah, I'm gonna sleep well because of that. I'm gonna sleep really damn well. And I mean, like I remember, let's think of some of these shots earlier in the season that he took. How about the 3-pointer against Atlanta? You got a problem with him shooting a 3? You know what I'm saying, to win a game? Like he can't shoot threes this year. You know, he's in the 20s right now, you know, shooting threes. I didn't blink an eye when that shot went up. I'm like, okay, that's the shot he wanted to take. And you saw he got fouled and he went to the free throw line, you know what I mean? And we know what happened in the 0.5, but it's just the fact he took the 3 I wasn't upset at because it was in DeMar DeRozan's hands. And I've seen him hit those shots. We saw it against was it the Knicks where he hit the game winner against them? That wasn't an easy shot either. That was a very difficult shot that he took, but it went in and it was cash money and we celebrated and it was great, you know. But there are no clean good looks. There are not a lot of clean good looks when you're trying to win a game, you know, because teams are playing their best defense as well against you. So it's not like they're going to say, no, here's a great shot for you. Go ahead. You know, think of Michael Jordan's, you know, the shot against Cleveland. You thought that was a good shot? You know what I'm saying? Flying across the free throw line with Craig Elo. That wasn't a good shot, but it went in. Like, that's the point. It's supposed to go. You want it to go in. You watch Coby do it his whole career. You know, that's all you want is your star to have an opportunity with the ball in his hands to take the final shot. You've seen him actually hit so many of these shots, like Mark K said, like you've seen it before so many times. Like, he should have, you know, a little immunity here, you know, when he takes those kind of shots, no matter how it looks, because you've seen him hit them. So yeah, I don't have any problem with it. I'm gonna sleep like a baby because of it, man. I really would have no issue with this at all, Mark K.
Yeah, and look, I mean, let's play this out. Let's think this out. Like, there's really only 2 guys on this team who's getting the ball in this situation. It's either DeMar or Zach. Like, you're not giving the ball to Caruso or Ayo to do something off the bounce in this situation. The Bulls had like 5 seconds left on the clock. You're not going to be entering the ball into Vooch in the post with that little time on the clock, particularly when he's guarded by Jarrett Allen. So in this situation, it's going to be a DeMar or Zach catch the ball, do something quickly off the bounce and shoot a jumper, because that's really all it's on offer in this situation. So that's what we're talking about. Like, it's either DeMar taking the final shot or Zach taking the final shot. There's not much you can do within 3, 4, 5 seconds of time to run an offensive set piece type thing. It is going to be catch the ball, turn, try to get to your spot and rise for the jumper. Like, that's what's happening. So if the alternative is here, Zach gets the ball and takes the final shot here, is it the conversation then assuming he misses, why did the ball not go to DeMar? I guess
Exactly.
so. However it plays out, the conversation here is so results driven, which is kind of frustrating because we're focusing on one possession here, whereas I think there was, and I think it was Connor earlier in the comments, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, made the point around they got beaten on, the offensive glass, for example. Like, that was really problematic. The Bulls were beating from the 3-point line. Like, their series of possessions throughout the entire 48 minutes where this team lost this game. So yeah, we can analyze this final possession to death, and maybe they could have done things differently. And as Billy has said, they wanted to do things differently, but I don't think this final possession is the root cause of this L, at least from my perspective, at least.
Yeah, I'm with you. Our guy McBaconator in the comments with a super chat, shout out to him, saying, my only problem is I would like to see more variety. I don't have a problem with it, but maybe help DeMar by giving someone else a chance. Take the pressure off DeMar, let somebody else try to do this. But I'm with you, Mark. Tonight's loss was not about who took that final shot. It was Daniel in the comments, who I think you were referencing, saying the Bulls nearly made an amazing comeback, but we can't disregard the position they put themselves in. Second chance points for the Cavs was a killer. Bulls need better defensive rebounding. To me, that defined this game. The Bulls got outscored by the Cavs in second chance points 25-2. 25-2. I mean, the silver lining is that I got to use one of my favorite gifts ever, which is Chris Farley pulling his hair out in Tommy Boy, because when it was the Cavs getting yet another three on yet another offensive rebound, I was losing my goddamn mind and pulling my hair too. 25 second chance points.
Yeah.
And 15 offensive rebounds. I mean, it was a different story when the Bulls came back and completed that miraculous victory over the Bucks earlier this week. But in that game, they gave up 22 offensive rebounds. They gave up 15 more tonight. That's why you lose this game. Plus some pretty ugly transition defense at times until they started locking things down in the fourth quarter. You put yourself in that position, and that's why you needed a miracle at the end of the game and didn't get one. Bad defensive rebounding, bad transition defense, offensive rebounds galore, second chance points galore for the Cavs. I'm sick of watching that same crap over and over again.
And let's not forget the 3-point shooting either, because that was really, really bad also for the Bulls. I believe 1 of 8 in the first half the Bulls were.
Yeah.
And I think 8 or 9 of 22 in the first half for them.
For the
I know they ended up 4-16. I think the Cavs ended up 4-16 in the second half, which put them,
so they were 13 of 38 overall.
Yeah. Okay, so yes, about 4 of 16 in the second half. That's
the Bulls
fine.
made 7, so that means the Cavs still outscore the Bulls by 18 behind the 3-point line.
Exactamundo. And the Bulls went 7 of 21. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's not good. Like when you're shooting like that from 3 from the jump, like you guys are saying, they put themselves in that hole, and it was evident. And that's why I was saying you're watching this and you're like, oh, I kind of know how this game is going to go, because we've been watching it all season long. You can't rebound. You can't stop them in the transition, and they're hitting incredible 3-point shots, whereas you can't get over the hump because you can't hit your 3-point shots, and you're not taking a lot of them either. So what position are you in? So that's why, they were in that position, and that's why it would have been exciting to get this win, because they would have stolen one. This would have been a straight up steal of a victory for the Chicago Bulls, because they weren't supposed to win this. Like Matt said, they got it together in the fourth. They played much better defensively. They started getting those rebounds, those loose balls. They started getting to them. The transition defense got better. All of it got better in the fourth quarter, but they needed to apply that in the first 3. And I would take into consideration, because I was talking to a friend of mine during the game, I would take into consideration that this was a back-to-back, and I get that it's a back-to-back, and they played a little earlier, about an hour earlier. I would take that into consideration if I hadn't been watching it all year. So it's just that fact, like I've seen them have 3-4 days rest and still come out and do this. So that's the only difference between that and, me giving them that, oh man, they're on a back-to-back, and things like that. But again, I don't want to, it was bad. And I'm sure you all have more to say on it like that, as far as that. But I just like the fight in the Bulls, because from what I've seen to start the season till now is when that happens to them, they were quick to just tuck it in and just call it a day. And that's not what we saw tonight. That's what we haven't seen in the past few games for the Bulls. So I give them credit for that. But yeah, everything Matt just said and what Mark K is about to say is absolutely correct.
Yeah, and look, we always say this team has a small margin for error, right? Like that's who this team is. They can't afford to have certain things go so poorly in so many directions. Like they're always going to be a deficit from the 3-point line. Matt, you mentioned that. Like they're minus 18 in terms of total points from the 3-point line, if I've done the math correctly there. And then from a second chance point of view, minus 23 in points from that perspective. So maybe you can live with one of those things. Maybe you can win the game if you're minus 18 in threes. It's going to be difficult to do, but maybe you can do it. But when you've got that on top of the offensive rebound, I know those things are connected. Some of those offensive rebounds that they did get, those second chance points, some of those were from 3-point makes as well. So, I mean, it's all connected in that sense, but it's just extremely difficult to win basketball games, even against teams missing, 2 starters when you're doing two of those things so poorly. So to your point, Dave, like the things that we're talking about here are frustrating because they're things that we've talked about before, and they're consistently going to be probably things that we continue to talk about. Like there is no getting around this 3-point shooting thing. I don't know how many times we can discuss it or say it, but seemingly we have to, because it's a thing that consistently is going to happen. Like the Bulls were 7 of 21 tonight from the 3-point line. Kevin Love and Karis LeVert together were 8 of 20 or something like that. They together as a 2-man combination outshot the entire Chicago Bulls. So that's a problem in itself. That's not going away. And if that's not going to go away, then you have to be really good at the other stuff, like the offensive rebound or disallowing offensive rebounds. And more generally, the Bulls have been okay on the defensive glass. Like they've been top 10, sometimes top 5 in defensive rebounding percentage. They started to fall though in the last 5 games, or the previous 5 games to this one. They were down to 23rd in defensive rebound percentage. So clearly over the last 5 games, there has been a trend where this team has just been giving offensive rebounds up to the Houston Rockets, to the Knicks. The Bucks had 22 offensive rebounds the other night, and tonight against the Cavs, like 15 offensive rebounds. So there's things that they can do to control or to clean up the game and control the game from that perspective. And if they did that, then we're not even talking about who took the final shot, because the Bulls probably win this game by 10 plus points, something like that. And we're not even talking about this being a clutch game, this not being a game where they could have snuck out a win, or who took the final shot. Like if they just do what the middle things that they can control, this is a W. Like it really is that simple.
And real quick,
Yeah.
Matt, I will
Dave.
tie one thing to the back-to-back, the fact they went 17 of 24 from the free throw line. That clearly shows me that they were a little bit tired, indicated that. So, yeah, I'll give it that part.
Yeah, I saw somebody else in the comments mentioning, the missed free throws from Io and Caruso being costly. The Bulls missed 7 free throws tonight. The Cavs missed 7 free throws tonight. So not a big deal there from my perspective. AK with a super chat. Our guy say giving up 15 offensive boards. Teams know they can just jack up threes and get the rebounds. That's why we need Herculean efforts every night. And to your point, Mark, about this recent trend of the Bulls sliding from being a good defensive rebounding at the beginning of the season to what we've seen recently in this last 10 games or so. I did see Katie Johnson had a stat earlier in the game. Once the Cavs had already crossed that threshold of 20 plus points on second chance points, the Bulls have surrendered 20 more second chance points in 5 of their last 10 games. That directly correlates, obviously, to these offensive rebounds and the struggles they've had on the glass recently. That is not a good trend, and it's one that the Bulls cannot afford. I want to talk about some of the bright spots in this game, that being the solid play of 2 of their young guards, Coby White and Io Dosunmu. We will do that coming up after the break. But first, Big Dave, tell the people out there at Bulls Nation about all the energy and money they can save with ComEd.
Oh, you know what's cool going into the new year? Saving money. That's an awesome thing to do, ladies and gentlemen. And with the ComEd Energy Efficiency Program, they are committed to helping families and businesses in the communities that we serve save money and energy. ComEd offers free facility assessments that can help find energy-saving opportunities, whether it's lighting, HVAC systems, commercial kitchen equipment, or industrial processes. Yes, I'm fancy in 2023. An authorized engineer will work with you to develop detailed assessment plan specific to your goal and needs. These can be done in person or virtually and last approximately 2 hours. Within I'm sorry. You know, when I said that, I immediately heard we're going to extend arts and crafts for 4 hours today. Within 3 or 4 weeks, customers will receive a report detailing energy efficiency projects that they can start working on immediately. Each recommendation will include estimated energy savings, cost savings, projected cost, potential incentives, and simple payback. So don't wait. Get started saving money and energy today. For energy saving tips and to schedule your free facility assessment, go to ComEd.com/poweringbiz, BIZ. And if you're ready to sign up for a facility assessment, give them a call at 855-433-2700 during normal business hours to speak with the ComEd Energy Efficiency Program representative. You can email them also at businessee@comed.com or request an assessment online on our website at comed.com/facility assessment.
Tonight's episode of also brought to you guys by DraftKings Sportsbook. This time of year, everybody's excited about the gifts they got. Well, give yourself one more gift and sign up for an account at DraftKings Sportsbook. There's awesome bowl game action going on. There's still some football going on right now. Plus, of course, all the NBA action. When I throw down on the NBA, college football, NFL, anything, it's got to be with DraftKings Sportsbook, the official betting partner of CHGO and official betting partner of the NBA. New customers can bet just $5 on any NBA money line and get $150 in free bets if your team wins. Download their app right now using promo code CHGO to take advantage of that great offer. Plus, of course, have fun and have bigger odds and bigger payouts with those DraftKings Sportsbook stepped up same game parlays. Shout out and condolences to my guy Cody from CHGO Bets and CHGO Cubs. I saw he had a parlay in college football that was going well until that Michigan game ended. But there's always tomorrow and there's always another game to have some fun making bets on. Parlays! It's where it's at. DraftKings Sportsbook. Promo code CHGO. Oh,
hey,
look at that!
There he is.
Look
that guy.
Here.
That guy.
What's up, dudes?
Looking
up,
slightly more rested than last night, Will. How are you?
I'm awake today. It's only 9 o'clock. Actually slept last night. I'm feeling great.
Grandpa Willie, baby. He got it in, baby.
Coffee coursing through my veins.
Well, we were about to dive into the solid games from Coby and Io tonight, but before that, Will, because you're just joining us now, let's get your take. We were discussing earlier the DeMar taking the last shot. Should they have drawn up a different play? Should the Bulls have tried something other than the give the ball to DeMar and hope he's a hero plan? Maybe looking at drawing up a last play of the game for Zach. What are your thoughts, and was that discussed in postgame for Billy and the guys?
Yeah, it was discussed. It was kind of like the topic of conversation. I think from what it sounds like, that was not really the play that they wanted to get off. I'm not going to say it was like the wrong play. I mean, I think at this point, DeMar has kind of earned the right to take whatever shot he can get in those situations. But it seemed like there was some weak side action going on between Zach and Vooch. Vooch setting a screen for Zach to come off the top of the key. Both Billy and DeMar said that DeMar broke the play. DeMar said he kind of found the gap there in that baseline. What happened was Donovan Mitchell was guarding Caruso, the inbounder, and when Caruso cleared out baseline, Donovan peeled off and went to double DeMar, and so that's kind of where it got junked up. But like I said, I mean, you can't really, fault DeMar too much for taking a one-legged shot in a closing moment there, trying to replicate some magic from last year. I think he was a little bit frustrated. I mean, like I said, you can't really fault him too much. I don't think it was like the best possible shot, but with 4 seconds and, he made that decision to shoot the gap there. That's kind of what you have to live with.
Will, you kind of touched on something I wanted to ask you about Zach and Vooch. It seems like they found something in that fourth quarter with that little pick and pop that they were doing, because you saw Zach kind of talking to Vooch running down the court. Did you notice that as well? And what was your feelings on that?
Yeah, those two have had really great synergy, I think, dating back to like Vooch's first game here. They have that empty side pick and roll action they love to go to. That is so difficult to defend because, Zach is just so dangerous when he's got the ball heading downhill. And when you have an empty side for him to operate, you don't really have to worry about those extra defenders coming in and trying to steal the ball. Obviously, the versatility of Vooch, you can either go to the post up or pick and pop. And then, with dumping the ball down to Vooch, Zach can be that spacer, and you kind of give Vooch the option to just go one-on-one. Or if the help comes, you've got one of the best catch and shoot 3-point shooters in the league waiting to do his thing. So those two are really just a handful to guard, especially on those empty sides. And it's something that I think the Bulls go to a little bit. I was talking about this with Mark yesterday too. Like, they go to some of these actions between Zach and DeMar where Zach will slip out of screens and pop for three that I kind of wish they would go to a little bit more because they're so dangerous. I think some of these teams like to, keep those plays in their back pocket and take them out in closing moments and things like that, which obviously we saw tonight with Zach and Vooch. But, when you're down all game, or when your offense is struggling and, your record is, you have a losing record, you kind of wish you would see a little bit more of that throughout the course of the game.
Yeah, well, I always like looking at lineups, rotations, those sorts of things. Was there any questions posed to Billy, or did Billy mention anything in relation to him closing with Io and Caruso and really going to that lineup at the close of both halves, to be honest with you? So, I mean, was that mentioned? Was that spoken about? I'd be interested to know if it was, and if not, can you maybe ask him about it next time?
It was not asked of him. It was kind of a weird, like, let's just get out of here because we want to go have New Year's tonight sort of post-game availability. But that's something that I was looking at during the course of the game because I was fascinated with the start that Patrick Williams had to the game with those 3 straight baskets, and I'm going to write about that afterwards. Got to talk with DeMar one-on-one a little bit about him, so there should be some cool insights there. But so I was looking at some of the Patrick data, and it occurred to me that group, the one you mentioned, Mark, of Caruso, Io, Zach, DeMar, and Vooch, is plus 17.8 points per 100 possessions. They were at least heading into this game the 15th best lineup in the entire NBA, minimum 100 possessions. So, they found something there. That's their closing group. I love Caruso at the 4. I just think that's great for so many reasons. One, because he's 6'4" and one of the best point guard defenders in the league, and then you can just put him at power forward, and it's just such a flex. But they've really unlocked something there. I think you saw the defense to close that game. I mean, those guys were everywhere. They're getting steals every single possession. If they can make a free throw, might have been a different outcome. But that lineup's really strong. I think it's really well balanced. You get good pacing, you get good transition game, you get good defense, and then you still got your big 3 out there. So that's something that, I think they've only played just over 100 possessions, but that's something that they'll certainly go back to. And when the time is right, I will certainly ask Billy and even some of those guys about just like why it's been working so well.
Dosunmu had a really solid game tonight. 19 points, most offensive production we've seen from him in quite some time. Knocked down 2 of his 3 threes. Played really solid defense, I thought, on Mitchell for large stretches of the night. And 5 steals. He was Caruso now back from this most recent Caruso injury. I'm curious to get all of y'all's thoughts on this. Io had gotten that assignment to the bench, and Billy had gone to Caruso in the starting lineup when the Bulls were really struggling somewhere in that losing streak they had a couple weeks ago. Does this game from Io make any of you think differently about that, and maybe Billy making yet another change to that starting lineup? Maybe part of it is just letting Caruso get himself back in to game shape after missing that time and just making sure he's okay physically. And that's the reason why Io has still been starting since Caruso's come back for these last couple of games. But, I mean, I think Io deserves a heck of a lot of credit for playing a really solid all-around game tonight, Dave.
Yeah, he definitely does, man. He was the engine for the Bulls, honestly. And he has mastered finding his spot and knowing when to score. I shouldn't say I'll say he's in graduate school before I give him a master's degree. But he's in graduate school right now with finding his spots and knowing when to score. When there's a lull in the offense, he knows when to go ahead and score. The things we say about Patrick Williams, how we want him to do it. Io's doing it. And Io is like, oh, okay, I feel like there's a lull. Guys haven't scored in a while. You know what? I'm going to the bucket, period. I'm going straight to the bucket. I'm trying to score, try to get this foul. You saw it in the third quarter when they went on that slump. and they couldn't score. Well, the Dosunmu, you know what I mean, was over there hitting those 3-pointers in the corner. So when his 3-pointer is working, you know, he's really on. When his 3-pointers are dropping for him, he's really on after that. But he did everything, man, and it elevated in the fourth quarter. And that's the awesome thing about it. And seeing him out there with Caruso, you know, like you just got a glimpse of what it could really be like, you know, for that team defensively in that fourth quarter when it's time. Because, I mean, they clamped down. He was the straight-up warden again tonight. He was the warden on Donovan Mitchell, man. He really was. He was on his nerves. And like you saw it as that time was winding down in that fourth quarter, just how difficult it was for them to score. Because they have to have Donovan Mitchell setting it up. Without Garland out there, Mitchell has to be the one, you know, facilitating, deciding if he's going to take the shot or if he's going to facilitate. And having Caruso and even trying to run a switch, you know, what you're going to put Ayo on it next to, it was a problem. That's why you saw those turnovers starting to occur and all those things starting to happen like that. But, yeah, man, Ayo, he's earned a look. Like, if everything goes back to normal, I think he's earned a look. But I think going to the bench did him well. I think we all talked about that, how we weren't worried about him going to the bench at all because we thought mentally he was going to be great. It seems like it's helped him. You know what I'm saying? It helped his game a little bit. And if he can continue to play like this, man, I don't see how he doesn't get another look like that.
Yeah, it's similar to the Pat Javonte thing. Like when it was trending towards Javonte and Caruso going back into the starting unit, and that was going to be a thing that was happening. Then they both got hurt. So Pat got back in. Javonte came back maybe a few games later, 5 games later, whatever it was, but hasn't entered back in that frame because Pat has played okay, I guess, from that point of view. So maybe it's similar to this, that Caruso gets hurt, goes into concussion protocol, misses a few games. The Bulls are doing some stuff at point guard, throwing Ayo there, Dragic, Coby, depending on who's playing. Billy sort of throwing that rotation around. But maybe Caruso, now that he's back, maybe he stays on the bench because Ayo, for whatever reason, has taken his opportunity here to get back into that into that place. And look, he played really well tonight. For 34 minutes, earned those 34 minutes. A big part of why the Bulls were maybe able to make up some of the deficits they had on rebounding and three-point shooting was the fact that they were just creating havoc from a steals point of view. They had 15 steals as a team. Ayo had 5 of them. The team was 21-10 in terms of fast break points. So they were able to close the gap some because of their manic defense. And Ayo was fantastic in that, creating a lot of transition opportunities. But in tandem with Coby or with Caruso, particularly the latter, the way they were sort of defending the on-ball situations, it kind of felt like what we saw last year when you had Lonzo and Caruso out there at the same time. Those two guys creating absolute havoc there. So that's why I was maybe that's the key reason why I'm not too disappointed about this loss, because it kind of felt like they were doing it defensively and getting it done in that sense. So and it felt like the identity in some regards had returned. So yeah, Ayo was fantastic. Caruso, even Coby. I mean, we can talk more about Coby. And I thought he had a fantastic game as well. But this team, the way they were guarding on the perimeter was really solid.
Yeah, I'd echo that for sure. I think it was really a situation where they were defending so well that it was just creating easy offensive opportunities. And once you start getting those layups, the rim starts to look a little bit bigger. And that's, I think, where the 3-point shooting come in. He's also been on a super cold streak. I think we talked about before I left, and then has really started to heat back up. So that's just kind of how it goes. Like especially for young players, you're not going to be super consistent necessarily. I was obviously a really talented player, but when you have that just like lockdown ability to fall back on every night, that's the kind of thing that travels, that you can bank on to get minutes even when your shots aren't falling. And so, yes, tonight he was providing a ton of offense. I think he had like 17 points, 70% shooting. That's amazing. He's not going to do that every night, but it's the defense to me that not only for him creating offense, but like he was a big reason why they got themselves back into that game late. So he really did have a great game, and it's just good to see him being incorporated in the offense, whether or not he's like a featured part of it.
Yeah, Will, he touched real quick on my main man, Coby White. Can we give Coby White his love, Will, for what we saw him doing out there on the defensive end, causing havoc?
Coby.
3 of those 15 steals were Coby White's. The one where he took from Donovan Mitchell, after Mitchell got the rebound and he just took it right from him and took it in for that layup and then finished the half with the bucket also. Coby White was awesome tonight, man.
He really was. And I think it's been a trend, for the last few weeks of him looking a lot just like better awareness defensively, of knowing where to be, of moving his feet a little bit better, of just like knowing how to position himself. And that's the thing we talked about prior to the year for him, was like his goal was, the Bulls need shooting. Where are they going to get their shooting from? They had 21 three-point attempts tonight. That is just simply not anywhere close to enough. Almost got doubled up. And so if he can defend at a just passable level, that's going to open up opportunities for him to be on the floor and space it out and create some of that offense. So he's looked a lot better, a lot more confident. And same with Ayo, just like creating easy scoring opportunities in transition through great defense. And like I said, for Ayo as well, like the rim just starts to look a little bit bigger. He becomes a better complement next to Zach and DeMar. Those second units, those second groups with like 3 or 4 guards in them have been pretty fun and fast. And like they need that sort of change of pace, that sort of curveball to throw out there when the offense is just a little bit sticky, a little bit slow. And Coby has definitely stepped up. Like he is playing really well lately.
Yeah, some numbers. So
it's encouraging to see.
Yeah, definitely. The last 10 games, Coby on a per 100 possession basis is leading the team in 3-point attempts. It's nearly 10 a game on per 100 possessions. He's hitting almost 40%. So he's doing that shooting off the bench type thing that we want, that catch and shoot thing. But importantly, he's like limiting the turnovers as well. He's had 10 turnovers in his last 10 games. So there have been issues that we've had with Coby in the past, like the inconsistent shooting, the inconsistent ball handling, the decision making. But those things have been really solid the last 10 games, as his defense has been really good as well. Like he I think had 2 or 3 steals tonight as well. So Coby has been really solid off the bench lately. And he's been a big reason why this team has won 5 of their last 7 games. So he definitely deserves credit. I thought if they got this W tonight, Dave, that he would have been Goon of the Night. Would I have been correct in that thinking?
It would have been, actually, I was going to do a trifecta. I was going to give it to him, Caruso, and Ayo. All 3 of them were going to be doing it tonight.
Also, what about first half Javonte? I mean, I know Javonte went around in the second half, but first half Javonte deserves Goon of the Night too.
He wreaked havoc in that first half. Absolutely. He kept the Bulls in the game.
He was like leading the team in scoring for the first 20 minutes of the game.
Right, exactly.
Which, probably not ideal. We got to take another quick break here. We'll come back to wrap things up with our thoughts on this game and the end of 22, looking ahead to 2023. Big Dave, tell the people out there at Bulls Nation about game time.
Well, then I'll throw it back to you, Matt Peck. You tell me, what time is it?
Game time, who?
Hottest new ticketing site that makes it easier than ever to score the best deals on tickets to sports, concerts, and shows. It is Game Time Hoot. Ever dreamed of sitting in that seat you thought you never could? The 50-yard line, courtside, behind home plate, floor seat at the concert. It's all possible with the Game Time app. The biggest last-minute price drops can be found on seats you thought that you could never, ever afford. You won't find better deals this season to go see the Chicago Bulls. And just like here at CHGO, it's created by the fans and for the fans. And it guarantees you beautiful person, the lowest price out there. So if you love CHGO, and we know that you do, then you'll love Game Time. The best way to support us is by buying your tickets through the link in the description. But first, hit that thumbs up button first. Then go ahead and buy those tickets, y'all. And join the 15 million people who have downloaded the Game Time app and score the best seats on all your favorite events. Because Mark K, what time is it?
Game time, who? Not as good as yesterday. Yesterday was better. I did a bit.
But you was ready. That's what I like. You were ready to go. You were ready to do your thing, sir. And that's what it's all about. Oh, man. Oh, Matt stepped out on us? Oh, okay. He had to answer the door and stuff like that. All right. I feel what he got doing. Like
grabbing a beer before, just grabbing a beer maybe. Getting the celebration going. The goat left too.
I have friends coming over, man, who are bringing me drinks. They can't wait for me to start drinking because I told you, Mark, I gave it up for the year. They can't wait. They're like, yeah, we're coming over. I was like, I'm not even going out. They're like, yeah, we're coming over. It's gonna happen. We'll be there. Like, y'all are crazy.
So you're gonna get back on the beers in 23? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I will drink again. Yes, in 2023. I wasn't planning on drinking at midnight, but it seems like they are coming through. Oh my God. I'm like, y'all don't even show up just on a regular day. Like, what is wrong with y'all? Y'all got problems.
Thanks for the invitation, Dave.
Matt, I didn't know it was happening until 40 minutes ago, Matt. So that's just how it is, man. And I'm scared to hang around you anyway. You're going to get your opportunity, sir.
As soon as we're done with post game, man. Anybody else you wanted to touch on specifically in tonight's game, gentlemen? We covered Iowa and Coby. We talked about the whole Zach and DeMar thing. Kind of a quiet night for Vooch, quiet night for Pat. I did want to at least give a quick shout out to Pat, who crashed the offensive glass at least a couple of times that I noticed tonight. Nice to see that from him. Also, a couple of strong defensive rebounds where he grabbed the board and then put the ball on the floor and initiated the offense himself, dribbling up the court. Need to see more of that from Pat, because we talk too often about how he's not really engaged as much as we want him to be in some of these games.
Yeah, true indeed. But and I wanted to give mine to Vooch, because Vooch, I just honestly I like the way he played, because he started very slow, and then the team, once they went on that lull, which I think should happen more often, they immediately just said, okay, we're going to go in the post to you. You know, we're going to give you the basketball and let you try to do your thing. And I think that should happen more often when they get in those lulls and they do it like that. Just dump it down to Vooch, and you know, more often than not, you know, he's going to put it in the bucket. More often than not, Jared Allen isn't going to be back there, you know what I'm saying, to defend or block shots and stuff like that. So, yeah, I thought he played really well, especially in that fourth. I thought his defense definitely stepped up in that fourth quarter, and those loose balls and that block he had and those tip outs that he was doing and getting those rebounds. He did a way better job of that. Ended up with 14 rebounds. Even on the tough shooting night, he was over 4 from the 3-point line. But even on the tough shooting night, I still thought that he made his mark, especially in the fourth.
Let me ask you a question. But you know, we've been doing this thing for 9 months now. I feel like you guys know me somewhat well at this point.
Okay.
Who would you say are the two players on this team that generally, from my perspective at least, where I'm biased, who maybe make me pull my hair out more than others?
Well, Patrick Williams is one for sure. Patrick is one for sure.
That's one.
Andre Drummond.
Pull your hair out.
That's
Andre Drummond. Yes. Andre Drummond. Yes.
You nailed it. You know, you guys know me. So this is where I was going to go with it. I don't understand, in a game where you're giving up 15 offensive rebounds, how Patrick Williams and Andre Drummond combine for 1 defensive rebound. How does Coby White have 5 defensive rebounds, but Patrick Williams and Andre Drummond have none, or 1? Sorry. So yes, I am biased. Yes, I have a tendency to look at the negatives with these guys more so than the positives. But like, bringing it back to what we said before, like where this game was won and lost, like it was lost on the last, and you just need more clearly from Andre Drummond. Like the fact that he had 1 rebound in this game is not good enough. But for Pat as well, like there was a period there, like more recently, where he was rebounding strongly. He was having games where he was pulling down 7, 8 rebounds. But in the last few games, he had 3 rebounds. 3 defensive rebounds against the Bucks, 2 against the Pistons, and only 1 tonight. I don't like where this trend is going back to, because I thought we were getting past that fact. I thought his rebounding on the defensive side of the ball was getting really good, or at least getting to the point where I was hoping it would get to, but it's kind of reverted back now, and that's not ideal given the rebounding issues that we were discussing before. So maybe I'm starting 2023 on a similar theme that I was speaking a lot about in 2022, but it's disappointing, I guess. I need to see more from those guys on the defensive glass. And Drummond generally is good, but for whatever reason tonight just wasn't.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Od's in the comments saying the importance of missing Dragic. Yeah, obviously that also had an impact tonight, especially when you saw that Bulls second unit really struggle to get things going offensively. I mean, we talked about the amazing stuff that Coby was doing to try and get that Bulls team back into the game, and he certainly was instrumental to them having a chance to steal that one in the fourth quarter. But you do notice the absence of Dragic when that second unit, just their half-court offense, it just seems so disjointed, and there's really not a lot of organization. So it was just a veteran rest night for Dragic on the second night of a back-to-back. So clearly, nothing on the injury report. Hopefully he will be back in that rotation when we have a rematch against these very same Cleveland Cavaliers
Rematch.
on Monday. And speaking of which, no, Alex, I did not go to Cleveland on vacation when I got up just a second ago. Would never go to Cleveland on Andrew that said he saw my shirt. I'll be spending a day in my current vacation, but at least I scored tickets to the Bulls game while I'm there. Well,
Nice.
hey, if you're I'm guessing the only valid reason to go to Cleveland is to go to a Bulls Cavs game or, game 7 of the World Series, because that's a pretty good reason to go to Cleveland too. But yeah, maybe I'll wash this shirt and wear it again in 2 days, or don't worry, I got plenty of Joakim stuff that I can wear for our rematch against the Cavs. Gentlemen, as we wrap up here, are the Bulls where you thought they'd be at the end of 22?
Oh, that's a great question. No. I would say no. No. I'll just say that.
Yeah, I mean, I concur. I don't know if they're that far removed from where I thought they would be. Like, I think ultimately the most likely outcome was they would be a play-in team. I think there was scope for them to be in the top 6 in the Eastern Conference, and there still is scope. Like, we're only halfway through the season at this point, or not even. But I didn't expect them to be 16-20. I maybe thought they'd be closer to 500, or if not, maybe the inverse, 20-16, something like that. Right. So, and that could have easily happened, as we've expressed on this show a number of times. There's one game here, one game there. Like, again, as we talked about before, small execution errors that have cost them dearly in games. And that's the reason why they're 16-20 at the moment, just on the precipice of the play-in in 10th in the East. So, yeah, not really what I was expecting. I was probably more expecting what the Knicks have been doing, to be honest with you, for this Bulls team. But it is what it is. But having said that, they've still got 45-ish games to go, and they have plenty of time to turn it around. Will they? Well, let's find out, I guess.
Yeah, I'm with you guys. Thought this team was about a 500 team coming into the season. A lot of close games, yet another clutch game tonight. The Bulls don't find a way to win this one, but it really hurt that they started 0-7 in the first 7 clutch games that they played. That clearly, along with losing to some of their inferior opponents, has the Bulls where they are now. But we persist, and we'll try again against these Cavs on Monday.
Wait, Matt, I do know the third player that Mark K gets on his nerves, and that's Lonzo Ball, because people won't stop talking about him.
Well, we got Antoine in the comments here talking about Zoe being back in 2023, and I think that's definitely possible. He didn't state which month, but if he means October 2023, then I think that's certainly possible. So I'm not gonna trash Antoine for that one, because I think that's in play. October 2023 is in play. But you've also got people in the comments saying here, I hate Zach for some reason, which clearly is not true. But I don't know. People will say whatever they want to say. But yeah, Antoine, I too believe Zoe will be back in 2023 at some stage.
At some stage, yes.
Well, you're already there, Mark, so you know more than anybody else in Chicago right now.
Yeah, he ain't back yet. He ain't back yet. I can tell you that.
He's not back yet? Not back in 2023 yet? All right.
Not yet.
Everybody, thank you for spending part of your New Year's Eve with us here on CHGO Bulls Postgame. Hope all of you out there have a safe and happy New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, and a start to your 2023. We will be back on Monday for pregame of Bulls Cavs rematch. So we will talk to you then. Enjoy your New Year's Day. And just a quick thank you to everybody as we hit the end of 2022. We launched CHGO in 2022 back in March. None of us can explain to you just how much fun we have doing this job and how much we appreciate the fact that you guys enjoy what we're doing and are here supporting us each and every day by liking our YouTube videos, by subscribing to our channel, by engaging with us on social media, by hanging out in our live YouTube chats after every Bulls game. We truly, truly appreciate it so much. And there's big and more exciting things coming in 2023, including a pretty awesome announcement that will probably drop sometime this coming week. Things are fun right now. Gentlemen, always a pleasure with you as well. Have a great New Year's Eve. Thank you, sir, for the night. Jake Flanagan, GM extraordinaire, for hanging out with us. For Mark K, who you can follow on Twitter at FK Hoops. Big Dave is at BAWL Sports. I'm Bulls _Peck. For everybody here at CHGO Bulls and CHGO, much love, peace, and happiness. Here's to 2023. See you, Red. Be good.